The Super Mario Galaxy movie is directed once again by the duo who brought us the previous film, Aaron Horvath and Michael Jelenic, and it tells a story about how Mario, Luigi, newcomer Yoshi, Peach, and Toad must go on an adventure into space to save Rosalina from the clutches of Bowser Jr. as he tries to break his father out of imprisonment and also do his best to take over the universe for his father Bowser. So, did I like this movie? I don't think so. I have quite a few issues with it, but did I have fun? Yeah, I had some fun. There were some good jokes here and there. I got some good laughs. There are some pretty exciting action scenes, and there is some praise for this film, so let's get that out of the way. I think the animation is stunning. Once again, the previous film from 3 years ago looks really damn good, and this film just looks really damn good too. The colors pop out, the texture on all of the hair particles and the denim of the clothing, the water, just everything about the film looks stunning and beautiful, and you can tell that a lot of money went towards the animation. And the action scenes, I think, are much improved upon because there aren't really a lot of action scenes in the first film outside of the Donkey Kong fight with Mario, the Rainbow Road chase scene, and the third act. There really isn't a whole lot of action outside of that in the first film, and it's fun, but this film ups the ante with the action scenes. They seem more violent because a lot of the action scenes here are oneers, a lot going on in one take. It feels like there's so much going on with, especially with the first action scene between Bowser Jr., Mario, and Luigi. There's so much going on with the setting, how they have to use the environments around them in these action scenes. It flows so well, and there's just so much going on, especially when you get to the more Mario power up scenes with the action in it. I think all of those action scenes are incredibly well done. All the action scenes in this film are incredibly well done. But there is more to a film than just action scenes and the look of it. The score by Brian Tyler, yet again, I thought was pretty good, and mainly because, it's Mario music. Mario music is great, and a lot of reinterpretations of Mario music used in this film, especially with it involving Galaxy. A lot of those renditions and reimagining of those old Mario music pieces are really well utilized in this film. Although I don't remember a whole lot more outside of that, and I do wish certain pieces were used a little more, and or I wish they felt better utilized in terms of the set pieces. I just wish that it was used just a little bit more appropriately in certain scenes, but the music's still enjoyable to listen to in this film. Another improvement this film has over the previous film is the use of licensed music. There is a hell of a lot less of licensed music use in this film. That is definitely a positive because you have Mario music to, use in these scenes, and it sets the tone really well. There's probably like maybe two songs that are pre-existing songs, and they don't feel entirely inappropriate. One of them involves Yoshi in a pretty funny gag. I get why they put it there. I wish it wasn't there, but whatever. It's not the end of the world because they really, really dialed it down with the use of licensed music in this film. And yeah, that's another positive I had with this film. The new characters in this film I really enjoyed. The screen time that Rosalina has, I thought that Brie Larson did a great job voicing her, and she's just a pretty fun character all around. And Bowser has some interesting elements about his character. He's tiny, he lives in a little castle in the Mushroom Kingdom, and he's extremely pissed off at Mario, but he's doing his best to rehabilitate himself. And the route they take this character, I thought was interesting. I just wish it was developed a lot better, especially with how they, develop the character throughout the film, including how he interacts with Bowser Jr. Bowser Jr. is another positive in the film. I thought that Benny Safdie did a good job voicing him. I really don't know what other voice I could imagine for Bowser Jr. except for the sort of cheesy, high pitched tone that he has in Sunshine for those cutscenes. But for this sort of redesign for Bowser Jr., in terms of the looks, I thought the voice fit pretty well. And Bowser Jr. is a pretty fun character. He has some great action scenes. He seems menacing, and he's doing a lot in this film. So I thought he was definitely positive in this film. And who can forget about Yoshi? Actually, I did. I forgot to talk about Yoshi during the entire video. I'm recording this while editing. I liked Yoshi. Yoshi was cute, had a lot of cute, fun things about him. I liked the way he moved around like he does in some parts of certain games. Yeah, Yoshi was cool. Donald Glover did a good job doing the little noises for Yoshi. And yeah, just wanted to say Yoshi was cool. And yeah, references are cool to see. They don't make the film for me because, of course, there has to be a cohesive and well thought out story in the film, but I did like the references in this film. There are some spoilers, but I'll get to those in a bit, including what these references are. But I feel like the first film utilized references better, whereas the references here, it just seems like just kind of throw it out there without much thought into how it's incorporated into the plot. Whereas, although there are references like that in the first film, they felt much more fun and or you know worthwhile. The references in this film really don't seem to add anything to the film in terms of there being a good reason outside of, oh look, I recognize that thing. Like we see Piantas and Monty Moles and stuff. I'm questioning why they're in space. you know I don't know. Maybe there's more to do with that in terms of the Mario Galaxy game, which I haven't completed. I've played parts of it and I've very much enjoyed what I've played of it, and I really want to get back to it. But, you know, I really don't get why we had to see so many of those characters like in space, like Piantas. I don't know. That might be just a little nitpicky, but it goes into like the references that this film has, like, oh, this character from that game, this character from that game, this character from that game. I don't know, parts of it just didn't feel like it belonged in a setting like Galaxy, because Super Mario Galaxy to me seems like it's a much more grand and epic story being told, and I didn't get that from this film. Okay, so let me just do a few critiques before I go into some spoilers, because I do have quite a few issues with this film. One of them is the pacing. Not that the film feels slow, it's always moving, there's always something happening, and, there are enjoyable scenes throughout the film. It's just that we jump around very quickly, and we really don't feel like we have a lot of room to breathe in certain scenes. And it feels like it just wants to do the next thing and the next thing and the next thing, like really quickly. We don't get a lot of room to breathe. And I don't feel like a lot of these scenes are super impactful to the plot. Like, we get this casino galaxy planet sort of scene in the film. It involves Wart from one of the Mario games. It involves Birdo and Mouser. And, it looks cool. It looks pretty. And there's a pretty fun action scene there. But I don't know. Something about it felt like, why do we have to spend so long on this moment where we just kind of push past it right after? The only thing it really does is set up Bowser Jr. becoming aware of something happening in that scene. Whereas I felt like, characters could have spotted, Peach and Toad walking around and then notified Bowser Jr. that way without spending so much time going through this specific moment of like this monkey stealing Toad's backpack and then them having to chase him. Yeah, and it's just a lot of, oh, we got to go here and then we got to follow the characters following characters. Like Mario and Luigi have to chase after Peach and Toad, and they eventually catch up to them. So it doesn't really feel like, they had to be separated. I don't know. Yeah, the pacing is just pretty off until like the third act when we have a lot of time in a specific area, the final set piece of the film, because everything is just boom, get to here, boom, get to here, boom, get to here. So yeah, it's too quick, and it doesn't feel as cohesive as the first film, although the first film is super simple, extremely simple. Like, it's an extremely basic plot going on. It felt way more cohesive than this. It felt like those scenes meant more to the overall plot of the film. Another issue I have with this film involves Rosalina. So, you know how in the first movie, Luigi gets super sidelined, like really undeservedly so? Rosalina, a pivotal character in Mario Galaxy, I felt was extremely sidelined in this film. And yeah, the scenes that she's in are cool, but she's one of the selling points of this being a Mario Galaxy film, a film based on the Mario Galaxy games. Why is she so sidelined? You know, I get what's going on. I get why she is, but it felt like there could have been way more to her character. And it felt like there could have been way more, things she could have done. But whatever, I guess. And Peach. There are some interesting elements with Peach in this film. She's sort of like a huge, maybe the main focus of the film. But I really don't think I like the route they took with that character, involving her past and her learning more about herself, her feeling sort of insecure about where she comes from, and her having to find out about that because the Toads found her one day. She doesn't know where she came from. And that leads me to another issue I have with the film. There being a lot of interesting elements brought up, and it feels like they just drop them. There's Mario trying to ask out Peach. They drop it like halfway through the film, and they don't even bring it up afterwards. What the hell? Because they have like a few scenes dedicated to Mario questioning if he wants to ask Peach out or if they should stay friends, and then they just drop it halfway into the film. What the hell? Then there's Bowser, who grows a bond with Mario, Luigi, and Yoshi, and once Bowser Jr. Reunites with him, he doesn't want to hurt Mario and Luigi. He wants to see if they could still be acquaintances and or not hurt them while trying to achieve Bowser Jr.'s goal. And I feel like Bowser just sort of flips on that way too quick. I feel like Bowser just sort of reverses his ideology way too quick in this film. And I felt like they could have done a lot more with that to make a much more impactful ending. But that means they would have had to change the ending of the film. And I don't know how they would have done that. But I feel like they just did it way too quick, because the film isn't super long. It's just a tad few minutes longer than the last film. I think 10 minutes longer than the last film. But I just feel like they could have done something better, or they could have developed it a little more and spent less time doing other things. This also reminds me, because I was talking about Bowser and Bowser Jr., another positive I had with the film. There are some very interesting animation styles used in this film. We get a flashback scene of Bowser telling a story to Bowser Jr., and it involves these hand puppets. And for a second, I thought it was like actual hand puppets being used in the film, just like imposed or, put into the animation using green screen. But no, it was just like extremely well detailed and well captured footage of this certain animation style to make it look extremely realistic. I thought that was like super charming, and it piqued my interest a bit. Like, whoa, that's how do they do that? What is this? Is this real? Is this like a real puppet going on? I thought it was just really cool, and it sort of like it fits so well in the scene for some reason. Like, I was thinking this is a real thing going on, but it has the 3D animation background. Like, it reminded me of Gumball a bit, like how they use so many different the Amazing World of Gumball. How they use so many different animation styles, and it flows so perfectly well together. So I thought that was really cool. It was something interesting. They didn't have to do it, but they did it. Flexing just some interesting animation going on. I thought it was just really, really cool. I guess that's all the critiques and positives I could say on the film without going into spoilers. So, and I really want to talk about spoilers in this film because it does sort of enhance my thoughts on the film and explain more as to why I like certain things and didn't like certain things. So, if you want to hear my final thoughts, just click to this time in the video. 3, 2, 1. That's your warning. I want to talk about the post-credit scene real quick because this really upset me. I waited 3 damn years to see my girl Daisy, and she is only in this film for like 5 seconds in a post-credit scene where she punches the monkey, and someone says, "Oh, thank you, Your Highness," and she gives a wink to the camera, and that's it. She doesn't even have a speaking line. I wait 3 damn years to see my girl in a movie, and she doesn't do shit. So I gotta wait another 3 years to see my girl Daisy in a movie. I was excited to see Daisy, but like disappointed at the same time. Yeah, and that's just what this film kind of is. I was kind of disappointed by this film because of the weird choices made, because of the pacing, because of the lackluster story. Just because it didn't feel like a grand story because they jumped straight to doing a Galaxy movie. So I thought they would have had a lot in their bag to say, okay, let's make this giant grand story of a Mario film because we're using the Galaxy setting. It didn't feel like a Galaxy movie because they don't go to a lot of planets or galaxies in this film. They go to like the Gateway Galaxy where just a bunch of people go so they can jump to other galaxies. And it just felt like a hub, like in Ready Player One, where all the characters come out and they're just sort of in this area. And then they go to like this dinosaur planet, sort of like Mario Odyssey, because they have the dinosaur from Mario Odyssey there. Also, in the spoiler, I'm going to be talking about a certain character that was revealed before the movie came out, and very much upset me because if I hadn't seen that or if I hadn't known about it, I would have been very surprised to see this character in the film, but I'll get to that later. So yeah, and then they go to the Bowser Planet Galaxy deal. So we only go to a few galaxies, planets in this film called Super Mario Galaxy or the Super Mario Galaxy movie. It doesn't feel like there's a whole lot of space in this movie because we spend so much time on these sort of meaningless planets. Oh yeah, we go to like the Honey Galaxy. I can't remember the name of it, but it has like the Queen Bee character in it. So yeah, it felt like we could have gone to so many more galaxies. We could have explored a whole lot more, but they didn't. So it makes this film feel less impactful, to me at least. Okay, I want to talk about this character that was introduced. So if you really, really haven't seen any promotion for this film beforehand, I'm going to talk about a character that Universal introduced like maybe 5 days before the movie came out. Okay, so skip to the ending if you really don't want to be spoiled about this. 3, 2, 1. Fox McCloud. Yeah, they revealed Star Fox in that was going to be in the film like 5 days before the movie came out. Do you know how cool it would have been to see Star Fox without knowing he was in the film? I thought that would have been way cool just to see that. And then Peach and Toad are looking for a pilot to take them to Bowser Planet Galaxy, whatever. And we get like Pikmin. I thought they were going to show Olimar or the other playable characters in the Pikmin series. So it was cool to see that. Just like them trying to expand the Nintendo universe in this film. And then we see Fox. And Fox is cool. I haven't played a Star Fox game. I've always wanted to, but I just never got around to them. But I know a little bit about Fox and Falco and Wolf and Peppy or Slippy. You know, all those other characters, the rabbit and the dog. I don't remember. I don't know all their names, but I know Slippy. Slippy's funny. But anyways, we get this cool like 2D in sequence of Star Fox or Fox just explaining why he's in this world. He says that something happened with his ship where he jumped universes basically, and so people think of that and they go, okay, Smash Brothers movie in the future. I don't really want a Smash Brothers movie for quite a while, I think, because I want them to just do more Mario stuff first, and or just do more other Nintendo series. Like I want to see a Metroid movie. I think that'd be pretty cool. But anyways, Fox is in this movie, and I think he has more screen time than Rosalina, but he has like the same amount to do in the film. He flies them in space for one sequence, and that's pretty much it. That's all he kind of does. He doesn't do a whole lot, and he's cool. I think he's pretty great. He has some great energy to him, and he does a few cool sequences. And it's cool to hear the Star Fox music as he's flying around, fighting Bowser Jr.'s ship. But he doesn't need to be in the movie. He doesn't do anything in the film. You know, they could have done the film without him. To be very honest, he didn't need to be in the movie because he doesn't contribute much. And that's the same thing. Like these other references in the film, they don't contribute much to the film. Fuck, Mr. Game and Watch did more in the movie than Star Fox did. Yeah, Mr. Game and Watch is in the film. Luigi gets a hold of Bowser Jr.'s paintbrush and he tries to do a drawing to conjure up a monster to fight them, but he conjures up Mr. Game and Watch and he fights Bowser Jr. and Bowser for a bit. I thought that was pretty cool to see. Totally unexpected. But that was something I really liked. And my theater got a little kick out of it. I like references like that. Or just stuff in the background. And, you know, Rob was cool to see in the film, but he didn't do anything. I get the whole joke about him being like slow as he moves around trying to point to something. But did he really need to be in the movie? Did the Gateway Galaxy need to be in the movie? Because they don't really do anything there except fight Wart. And then Wart tells Bowser Jr., hey, I spilled the beans about you stealing Rosalina. Why does Wart have to know about Bowser Jr. stealing Rosalina? Why? It doesn't really make sense. Like, why would Bowser Jr. tell someone about that? I don't know. I think it's funny that this movie has a casino planet sort of setting, the same way as The Last Jedi had a casino planet sort of setting. And, you know, it does something to the plot, I guess, but they don't need to be there. And, or they're like sort of interesting, but they don't really do a whole lot. You know, you could take it out or shorten it up and it would make the rest of the film a little more enjoyable, I guess. I want to get back to the pacing of the film for a bit, talking spoilers. So I think I might have missed like the first minute because when I walked in, we got introduced to Rosalina as she exited her, you know, her house or whatever, and then she was telling the story to the Lumas. I don't know if there was anything right before that, but the pacing is Rosalina gets captured after she has a cool action sequence. We get to Mario and Luigi as they find Yoshi in the like the desert area in Mario Odyssey, which I thought was a pretty cool setting. Then Peach's birthday, Luma crashes on the Mushroom Kingdom. Peach and Toad leave to the Gateway Galaxy so they can rescue Rosalina. Mario and Luigi do some cleaning up of bad guys in the Mushroom Kingdom. Bowser Jr. comes to fight them, and then they get accidentally lost on a planet with the Queen Bee. Bowser sacrifices himself so Mario and Luigi can escape. Bowser Jr. steals Bowser. Peach and Toad are on the Gateway Galaxy planet. They fight the monkey, and then they fight Wart in the Casino Galaxy place. Wart tells Bowser Jr. about them. Bowser Jr. and Bowser reconnect. Mario and Luigi and Yoshi meet up with Peach and Toad as they meet Star Fox. They fly in space. They have a cool space fight sequence. They crash on a dinosaur planet like in Odyssey because Bowser Jr. turns Mario and Luigi into babies. And then we get this weird sequence of the babies and Toad trying to outmaneuver the dinosaur. And we spend so long on that sequence. I really don't know why we had to have the dinosaur sequence because It took so long, and it doesn't contribute anything to the overall plot of the film. It really doesn't. We could have done without it, and yeah, there's a cool chase sequence there, but we didn't need it. Luigi makes a distress signal, just kind of sort of messing around on the radio. The Loomis hear it. They come to the rescue with the Comet Observatory. Then they fight in space as Mario, Luigi, Yoshi, and Toad shoot onto Bowser's galaxy. Oh yeah, the whole point is that Bowser Jr. wants to take up all the cosmic power that Rosalina has, so he can power up their cannon on their planet to destroy other planets and take over the universe, basically. So that's why he captured Rosalina. And then it turns out, and the weirdest thing possible that so many people are going to flip out over, Rosalina and Peach are actually sisters. People were sort of assuming and guessing over the years that Rosalina would be Peach's mother. So them being sisters is extremely weird. And it turns out that Peach is this ultra powerful, extremely cosmic super being entity that can create stardust and crap if she's next to Rosalina. So they have to rescue Rosalina and use their magical star powers to save the day. Yeah, I don't get why they did that to Peach. What's the point of making Peach this super extremely powerful cosmic character? Yeah, she has issues with not knowing where she came from, but her being related to Rosalina is weird, and then her just having these magical powers all of a sudden is also weird because they don't really do anything with it. She just uses it to save Rosalina at the end. I What's the point? Really, what's the point of that? Because I guess their powers only, like, Peach, I guess, only has these powers if she's next to Rosalina. Rosalina just, like, has the power and can just, do the shit that she does. So it doesn't make sense. I don't get why they did it. It's weird. And I saw this meme the other day saying, like, Rule 34 artists having to rush to all the Rule 34 they made of Rosalina and Peach, having to label it as incest now. Because artists are fucking creepy and weirdos. And there's plenty of, Rule 34 of Peach and Rosalina out there. I'm positive of it. So yeah, now they got to change all of that, and it's fucking hysterical, but weird at the same time. What the hell were they smoking when they decided to make Rosalina and Peach sisters? It's explained that Rosalina sent out Peach because people were after their powers, but it seems like Rosalina did perfectly fine for herself. She did not need to separate Peach and her, because Rosalina was able to live on for all those years without issue until the very end. So they really did not need. She really did not need to separate her. What the hell? It's just a weird thing as to why she did that, especially if she has those powers. I don't know. At the very end, they have the fight sequence at the end. What I think is cool is that there are some cool 2D sequences where Bowser Jr. He sets up Mario and Peach in a trap, and the way he's watching it looks like a 2D level of the original Mario game. I thought that was kind of cool. What I didn't dig was when they switched to Mario World at the end, when they have to rebuild the Mushroom Kingdom castle, Peach's castle. I don't know why they had to switch up art styles like that. It was just kind of weird. Because I get it why they did that, because they made Luigi look like how Luigi does in like the All-Stars version of Super Mario World. Yeah, so I thought that 2D sequence was cool with Bowser Jr. setting up all these traps, as if Mario and Peach are going through a 2D level of the original Mario game. And the 3D sequence of that as they're traversing the traps and the maze, the traps and stuff, is really cool and really fun and exciting. Mario says, "Peach, go to Rosalina, I'll fight them off." And so Yoshi, Luigi, and Mario fight Bowser Jr. and Bowser. And what's funny is that they do the sequence in the original Mario game where Mario chops the bridge down and Bowser falls in the lava and dies. And I was like, okay, they're bringing out dry Bowser. And Dry Bowser came out. It's really cool. They all fought, and then yeah, the Game and Watch reference there, and Luigi gets a hold of the paintbrush. Just all really fun action stuff. Something I didn't dig though was how like they got these new mushroom power ups and they were just able to know how to use them right away rather than, oh, I need to figure out how to use this new power up in battle. And it could lead to like fun sequences of them like failing and figuring out, okay, this is how I use this power up rather than, oh, I know how to use this power up right away. So I thought that was kind of, you know, off putting. It looked all great. The action was all cool. I just wish they had moments like that. That would have made the scene much more impactful. And then the day is saved. Everything's all hunky dory. Bowser Jr. and Bowser are in jail. And yeah, that's kind of the movie. Uh, Peach gives Mario a peck on the cheek at the very end. Doesn't really do anything for Mario wanting to ask out uh, Peach. Yeah, just I don't know. This movie kind of let me down a bit because I expected it to be more grand and, adventurous and, more galaxies and more space. And they don't really do anything with like the galaxy stuff because like in the Galaxy games, Mario's on a galaxy. He's walking around. He jumps and each planet has that gravity. He can jump to other planets and stuff using the stars and whatever. In this game they just go to a planet and they're on the surface of the planet and we get like one sequence of them flying in space, traversing through different like gravity fields of like asteroids and stuff. And that's like the most galaxy this movie feels when they're flying in space like that. Like it looks cool, but I don't the movie didn't feel like a Mario Galaxy movie because it didn't feel grand and epic, and it just felt like they kind of fucked around and dilly dallied like the whole movie until the third act. Like I didn't mind the first act a bit. I thought it was fun and enjoyable, and I liked the setup to everything. That second act is just where it sort of drags for me because like Mario and Luigi are separated from Peach and Toad for a large section of the movie, where it feels like they didn't need to be. Like Mario gets sidelined hard in this movie too. It feels like it's more about Peach, and like I get it, but at the same time, it's called the Mario Galaxy movie. Like, no character has an arc in this film. I could have explained that in the non-spoiler section, but yeah, no character has like an actual arc in this film. No one overcomes something and learns something. Mario doesn't overcome anything. Luigi doesn't overcome anything. Peach doesn't overcome anything. Rosalina doesn't overcome anything. Toad doesn't overcome anything. No one has an arc. It's just like, let's go here and there and fight scenes and the movie's over. So like Mario and Luigi at least had an arc in the first film. They learned to stand up and be brave and take action. That's something at least. In this film, there's nothing. No character has an arc. And I said this about the first film. It's a very average kids movie with like a fun, cool Mario Nintendo coating over it. And I've enjoyed it less over time, but I still think the Mario movie, the first one, is good and enjoyable. I don't know if this movie is good or not. Did I enjoy it? Yes. Is it fun? At points. Is it bad? I don't know. It's just sort of bland and mediocre and underwhelming and disappointing. And it means a lot to me because I saw the first Mario film on my second date with my girlfriend. And we went to see this film at the midnight release of it. We got these posters. We were excited for it. But it was so late. She fell asleep for a bit. And I'm watching it. I'm just like, I don't know if I'm digging this. Like, it's fine, I guess. But it does so much that kind of irritates me. So, the Super Mario Galaxy movie is it's whatever to me. I'm giving this film a C plus, maybe a C. It's just that I expected more from a film that is using Galaxy as a template. This grand epic adventure a video game regarded as one of the greatest video games of all time. I expected the film to just be, you know, amazing, but I did have a good time with it. I did enjoy it. I enjoyed parts of it. Not like I enjoyed it overall. I enjoyed parts of it. Like I want to see it again. Maybe I'm being too harsh on it cuz I did have fun with it. I did like certain parts of it, and there is a lot of effort put into this film, but I felt like more effort could have gone into the script. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the Super Mario Galaxy movie as of now. Like I said, I want to watch it again just because maybe I'm being a little too harsh on it, and maybe I'll have more fun with it. Maybe something's not clicking with me on this first watch. Maybe it'll be the inverse of the first film, whereas I like it less. Maybe I'll like this more. I don't know. We'll see. So, did you see the Super Mario Galaxy movie? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Did you feel underwhelmed by it? Or did you absolutely love it? I feel like this is going to be another one of those instances where the critics are getting it wrong. This movie is for the fans. But the fans just want references that go, oh my god, look, ha ha ha. It's that thing I recognize. Yeah, I like to look at references and stuff too. Like, I lost my shit when Luigi had the GameCube startup sound on his phone as a ringtone. I thought that was cool in the first movie. But the references here, they don't feel like they, add. I felt like the first film could get away with more references because it was the first film, and more stuff was hidden in the background, and or if it was a reference, it was just tiny. The references here feel like it has to be its own plot point, but they don't really feel like they add anything to the plot. Like it was cool to see Birdo, but she didn't really do anything. It just felt like they had to throw in so many things in here, but it didn't really feel like it served a purpose. So anyway, sorry, got off on a little tangent. Tell me what you thought about the Super Mario Galaxy movie. What do you expect to happen in the next film? Are they going to do Odyssey? Are they going to do Land, World, 3D Land, 3D World? Are they going to do an entirely new thing? What do you think they're going to do? What did you like about the film? What did you not like about the film? Tell me what you thought about in the comments below. And I'll be back with more enjoyable content like this. I have a lot of movie reviews to catch up on, the things I didn't talk about in 2025, and all the films I didn't get to talk about so far in 2026, like They Will Kill You, Project Hail Mary, All You Need Is Kill, Hoppers, and more. So, yeah, bye.